What role really do the diaspora play, especially in the UK and countries like the US? In the UK, both prime ministers have said that they are the living bridge. Is it a catchy phrase or is there more to it?
No, I think there's much more to it. I have much more personal experience of the diaspora in the US. I'm not so familiar with the UK, but certainly in the US, the diaspora played a huge role in transforming the relationship.
How so? Can you give me an example?
One, changing India's image in the US, because the diaspora itself was a successful professional diaspora. So, when I first went to the US as a student in the 60s, India was a land of snake charmers and maharajas and elephants and tigers. And they had no idea what India was. But the diaspora is the one who really changed that, who actually, having done that, when it came to big initiatives in the relationship, like the civil nuclear deal with the US, it was the diaspora which went to every congressman, every senator, and told them, you must support this. This is important to us. And who did a lot of the hard work.
You played a key role in getting that done, isn't it?
Well, I was a negotiator of the 123 agreement and so on. I came into it relatively not late. I mean after a while, but the one who did the real hard work in the beginning and conceived it was Shyam Saran and others like Ranan Sen and so on.
Right.
But yes, I was involved in the NSG part, in the negotiation of the agreement and so on. So for me, the diaspora is very important, and how the diaspora behaves. And I think it's the same in the UK, because I think if you look at India's image in the UK, it actually started even at an even lower point, thanks to the whole imperial legacy.
Mm.
And what the diaspora has done is to change that completely. And that I think is quite an achievement. It really is, and it's opened up opportunities. And frankly, both sides, you now have people on both sides who are comfortable working with each other, doing business with each other. That's the big advantage of a diaspora.
Thank you.
And I think it's very important. For me, the diaspora is critical to these relationships.
And do you think the administration in Delhi recognizes that and leverages that?
Certainly. I think for at least for the last 30 years or so, at one stage there was also a separate Ministry of Overseas Indian Affairs. That's now been folded back into MEA. But there is a separate department, and no, there is no question that, and this government also has paid a great deal of attention to the diaspora. So I think that's a running thread for the last 30 years. All diplomacy is a people business, right? Ultimately, it's about people. But you're not representing people, you're representing a country and its interests. And while the people part of it might make the dealings easier, and might make it possible to just pick up a phone, talk to somebody, and each side then understands the other, knows what to take seriously, what to not take seriously. It can't solve the basic issues of a congruence of interest, of strategic congruence, which is what countries build their relationships on. So both are essential. Both are useful. But of the two, ultimately, the hard fact is that it's interests that drive relationships. Personalities can make them smoother, easier, and so on. But I don't think they can substitute for interest.
Vaccine diplomacy, do you think that it was a misfire, looking back?
I don't know. I really don't know what the calculation was. I mean, it should have been possible to do vaccine diplomacy and ramp up domestic production. And, Serum Institute, for instance, has been saying for months, let us ramp up production. Just place advance orders or give us the money to invest. give us the permissions. And there are other Indian manufacturers. And if we do compulsory licensing for at least for the Indian vaccines, I'm sure there will be a huge increase in production. So I'm really not sure how we got into this mess of what the calculus was. We shouldn't be here. I mean, that is clear. But I wouldn't necessarily just blame vaccine diplomacy or, supply demand, or I don't know enough about this. I'm no expert. And I'm not going to second guess those who know much more than me.